Pants some other time?
Not a chance!
Recently, I played the game Freedom Planet and had a dang old time with it, flaws and all. Part of that was because the fun and spunky leads with Aaron Jean personality that give it a real charm. And I would argue that Freedom Planet's writing highlights everything its inspiration, Sonic the Hedgehog, should do. And that's what we're going to be handling today, and why Sonic's serious stories fail, and how Freedom Planet succeeds.
Hey kids, would you like to hear a fun story about Sonic and Tails?
Eat a cake!
Great! Here we go!
Before going to the bigger issues, Sonic has a reoccurring problem with its character animations and just explaining everything to the viewer. Most notably, in Sonic Forces, we are constantly told about a terrible war, and Sonic being tortured through solitary confinement for months on end. We barely see any of the effects of the war, about 1 or 2 scenes and stages of us experiencing it, and Sonic is said to be dead, then tortured, then completely fine, all in the span of about 30 minutes. Sonic doesn't have the best pace. Cut that out. Compare this to Freedom Planet, where we get to experience multiple scenes with the characters trying to get help from the governmental leaders, only to be imprisoned, on the run, and tortured in the face of an intergalactic war, as well as a brooding territory conflict. It's not really told to us, but we all see it. We get to experience it and take it all in, and where the characters would understandably have internal conflicts with. And while, yes, they do back down the territory conflict later on, majority of the rest of it is still keen on showing you the adventure. Let's not even go into Freedom Planet's beautifully done character animations and expressive poses. Sonic doesn't get that, with all the movement being incredibly unnatural and the characters more often than not just stating what they're feeling and what they're going to do.
Sonic! I've changed a lot since I've started hanging with Sonic. But I can't depend on him forever. I know I can do this by myself. Okay, Eggman, bring it on!
Sonic the Hedgehog, hero to all. When the world needed saving, he would answer the call. His little friend Tails was part of the team, but he was shitty and small and had low self-esteem. So when they gathered up Chaos Emeralds, Tails told the man put him under his genitals. He pawned them all in a spending spree for his crippling addiction to PCP.
Sonic's writing is not great, even when they're not serious. This is because of a very consistent problem with the Sonic franchise as a whole, in that whenever they bring up a concept, they back out halfway through. This goes for both gameplay and story, as they never fully commit to the ideas they had in store. Most notoriously was a spin-off, reboot but not really, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, and main series Sonic 06. The stories of both are a mess for different reasons. Rise of Lyric just meandering around, never really having a point, and just being utterly boring. 06 being a clumsy time travel plot and a vain attempt to reboot the series, but not really. The only characters ever explored is Silver and maybe Elise, I guess. And the entire thing is just being a mess through and through. What the two have in common is the reboot but not really aspect, in that both of these games are advertised as taking the series into a new direction for a new generation, but then chickened out halfway through for one reason or the other. Because of this, characters are introduced out of nowhere, assuming the audience would already know who they are. Rise of Lyric is particularly egregious with this, because when first announced, it was said Sonic wouldn't have his main asset of speed anymore. Which would actually be an interesting concept, in that you had to play the game more methodically. And maybe that could lend itself more to exploration, which the 2D games excelled at. But no, they instead implement the speed, but only sometimes. Sonic's biggest, most recurring problem is not that it takes itself seriously, or not sticking to what it knows. The problem is that it never goes all out with a concept. The series gets compared to Mario and how that sticks to what it knows, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In the main series alone, you have gravitational manipulation, a water jetpack, multiple characters you can choose from with a different playstyle, close-oriented combat, and possessing people. All of them critically acclaimed games. That was just gameplay, that's before going to the game's actual plots. One of which, from Mario Galaxy, was downright heartbreaking. Rise of Lyric has a new villain who's super serious to counterbalance Eggman's silliness, but is never shown to be threatening. A main theme is Sonic learning the value of friendship, but outside of a few scenes of them arguing and at the end with where everything's okay, I guess, we get nothing? Okay, whatever, man. Another aspect was that this would be an origin story for Sonic, but Sega said they wanted to tell that someday. But it's a different universe. A universe that's meant to be a spin-off, reboot of some sort. And not start at the beginning of a story would be, not good. Sonic 06 story, I'm not even going to try with that convoluted garbage. I'm just going to focus on Sonic's story in which he and Princess Elise, aka oh my god who wrote this crap, develop a romance together. Following the format of the usually well-written romances of how one character brings out the best in the other and they grow as characters because of it. Just horribly botched and basically skipped past any of that pesky character development and a fucking romance story. And I should probably not use the word fucking when referring to anything to do with Sonic, at least. Sonic's problem has been there since his conception of being a competitive character to Mario, in that he was just meant to be the anti-him. The cool, rebellious, focus group tested mascot he was.
Why can't it be more like that nice boy Mario?
As such, when Sega ultimately lost that console war, the direction of the games became more and more confused. Sonic doesn't have identity at once because it's too focused on what its identity should be. To any creator out there, worrying about your style will never get you one. Whether it be art, writing, editing, or game design, you figure out your style by trying things that you think will be fun, not trying to find what's most popular. Sonic constantly tries to prove its worth on an audience and can be mature and crap. Many products take this turn for the sake of trying to appeal to the man-children of the world who think kids enjoy it instantly means it must be bad. And as such, whenever it does, it always comes off as an act of desperation. Freedom Planet knows that's reminiscent of Sonic and doesn't shy away from it. It revels in it, with its hokey acting akin to the PS1 era, its over-the-top story of good versus evil, its snarky characters, its anime meets cartoony aesthetic. Think about this for a minute. This is a highly successful game because it not only knew the strengths of what it was taking inspiration from, but also the weaknesses and how to poke fun at it. People think calling this a fan game is an insult, but if Sonic Mania has taught us anything, that's a compliment of the highest regards. Freedom Planet made its own identity by being a collection of positives from different series, and made something new and fun out of it. Freedom Planet never once worried about whether it was cool or not, as did Sonic Mania, and they're both well-beloved games because of that reason.
Come on, Sonic said, let's go collect rings and run through the meadow and jump on spring. We'll laugh and we'll play all day and all night while your eyes are red, Tails. You feeling alright?
Yo, fuck your ring, Sonic! It's time to get real! I wanna kill a motherfucker just to see how it feels! If you dare come at me, you better come at me strong! I'll break your sorry ass legs if you look at me wrong!
Back on 06, Elise says she can't cry or else Armageddon would rain down. She gets kidnapped a few more times, Sonic dies for realsies, and she cries. Everything goes to heck until it's not heck anymore, and then they're in a weird void and they say their goodbyes as they won't know each other. People object to this romance because that's with a human and a hedgehog, or that's really odd character for Sonic to have any romantic interest, but, you know, I don't care. Any concept could have done well, and if they wanted to essentially revive Madonna, then whatever. The problem is not the concept, it's the execution, and that these two chuckle fucks have no personality to them. Elise gets a mini arc, if you can even call it that, about trying new things, ignore the fact that she was sheltered for a very good reason, and Sonic doesn't get anything, not really even his usual cocky personality. He's oddly silent and stoic for so many of these cutscenes. Rise of Lyric and Forces has a theme of power of friendship, and that's as deep as the shallow end of a swimming pool. Why the power of friendship ends up being a recurring theme of the series, I will never know. It doesn't go beyond friendship good, and really has to actually challenge the main character in any way. Sonic already knows that friend equal good, and more often than not, the other characters change their ways to understand his side, not the other way around. Which is strange because they already have an interesting theme embedded within the series of environmentalist versus industrious society, with Eggman constantly taking over environments and harming the animals that live within it. That would have been an interesting concept to explore, since Tails is both Sonic's best friend, yet also an inventor, so you could do something with that. But nope, never even touched upon. It's especially offensive in Sonic Boom, where the plot is about how the past was more technological advanced than the present. There's this one line from Lyric about how he needed the robot body to survive, so maybe you could write an interesting conflict of how there needs to be technological advancements while still being in tune with nature. But nope, never explored. The best way to explain how Sonic never fleshes out its concepts and its potentially interesting characters is with a fan favorite, Shadow. People think that Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 were the good way to do serious stories in Sonic. I argue no such thing currently exists within the game's canon itself, but adventure stories are the best Sonic stories because they actually have arcs and character development and stuff. You know, that character development is basically, I should do this thing! 10 minutes later, I did the thing! Shadow is in fact probably the best character in the Sonic series. Like I said, the world bends in Sonic's favor, and that even when he's being tortured for 6 months, and his friends and family have been in mortal danger for the entire time, he just comes out like nothing happens and saves the day in no time. Anyone who does bring burden on him are portrayed as undeniably bad guys, or learns to think like Sonic in some way. Shadow actively defies that in that he has such a serious, grim, and dark tone and outlook on life. It puts him in a unique position in the Sonic universe. The entirety of Shadow the Hedgehog is him choosing which moral side he wants to side with, and the way to the true ending of the game is to reject all of it and putting the past behind him. The games realize that him obsessing over losing Maria is not going to do any good, but he doesn't change his personality overall, he just moves on from it. That's 1,000 times more interesting character development and themes than pretty much anything to do with Sonic, the character. Yeah, it's not Shakespearean, but comparatively it's better.
I'm Tails the Fox, you little bitch, and I'm on the attack. My endocrine system is fucking riddled with crack. Now I've got hallucinations that are out of control, and I can taste colors, and I'm gonna show fuck your soul.
There's this trend to amp the stakes in Sonic, where we see Sonic get the shit kicked out of him. This happens because it's a cheap way to elicit sympathy from the players, without actually making anything worth caring about in the actual character. There's a reason why these scenes tend to happen at the beginning of the game rather than later on we can actually grow attached to them. In Freedom Planet, there's 2 scenes of characters being absolutely brutalized. The first comes to the midpoint and the second near the end of the game, where we got more than enough time to enjoy the characters. In Sonic, it's just silly. You laugh at how hard it's trying without actually showing any actual impact on the characters. In Freedom Planet, you go, Jesus Christ! Because of how shocking and effective it is. The first part is when Lilac is put in restraints and used as bait to have Torque spill any information and... And when the entire game is showing how helpful, fun, and energetic Lilac is, this part becomes incredibly intense. A worse moment comes later on when the cute, soft, and nothing but childish and playful Mila gets a knife held to her neck and then gets turned into a ravenous monster you have to fight. That is horrifying and straight up heartbreaking to witness. That's because of how likable the main leads are. How all their interactions, animations, and playstyles were so endearing to the player. You are shown the impact. And 3D Sonic games doesn't have the impact they need to give us satisfaction of beating a boss or any of the fight scenes. These characters are shown vulnerability and weaknesses that make us understand them, something Sonic is never allowed to have. Lilac and Carol have many similar qualities to Sonic in different ways. Lilac's heroic nature and friendly attitude, Carol's laid-back and thrill-seeking personality. Where they differ the most is that Sonic's default personality is smug detachment, and that doesn't work for a character you're supposed to care about. If they don't care about the situation, why should I? Sonic can get the living shit kicked out of him, but if he is making snarky remarks 10 minutes later, why should I care? The reason they ultimately don't do anything with the concept is because it's ultimately Sonic's story, and Sonic is not allowed to grow, change, or develop. Which would be fine if he wasn't the main character and there wasn't so much focus on story. Sonic isn't even allowed to cry, one of the most emotionally vulnerable states you could put a character in. We know nothing of his backstory, and his motives never get explored. There's a reason people's favorite character is Shadow, because he's allowed to grow, be flawed, and things go wrong for him. Sonic isn't, and ergo we have no emotional connection to him and just don't care. Of course I don't want anything bad happen to Sonic, but I don't really get that reaction I needed to be really invested.
Hey Tails, we've got fun times in store. What's the first thing you'd like to do today?
Park!
Hi, you're funny. We'll have a great time. There are lakes to swim in and mountains too.
Park!
So Sonic and Blaze played a game of lacrosse while Tails slammed a bunch of sluts like a boss. He was about to bust nuts all up in a hoe when Robotnik showed up.
Hell no!
Tails knew he must defend the whole city, so he stopped doing blow off the hooker stank titties. Sonic said, Robotnik, you gosh darn clown, I'm gonna jump on you until you fall down.
Hey, stand the fuck back! I got a better solution. It's time for old school street justice, death execution. Rebel bitch, here's some motherfucking cats for your head. Wow, wow! Now that egg-shaped cocksucker's dead. I'm Tails the Fox. Do I have to fucking say it again? I am exploding with evil that you cannot comprehend. I just committed a murder, but there is no time to rest. Let's get our friends over. Have a giant forest farm fest.
Sonic is a fascinating series, and I will never be the type of person who would argue that it shouldn't do weird and experimental shit. It should. It puts Sonic in a position no other mascot like him could compete with. Sonic is never a boring conversation to have because of it. But Sega should be more confident in what ideas it wants to explore with than constantly hindering itself with what they feel others would think of it. Instead, it should focus on what will be the most interesting and fun thing they could do with the concepts given and stick to it. Sonic will never not be interesting, and that would be great to see the potential to its fullest. It can happen. I know they can do it. Shadow's the best character in the franchise, but he's still the absolute fucking worst.
Sonic was too traumatized to reply. It was the first time he'd ever seen another man die. But it wasn't the last. Tails made sure of that when he broke Big Spine and wore his S as a hat. Tails the Fox, his mind is blown. He'll kick you right in your special zone. I think I'm gonna call the cops on him, but he will never know about it.
Oh fuck!